Watching BBC News. Hello, I'm Gareth Barlow. We're following the developments here in the newsroom on the situation in France. And we're just getting reports via the Reuters news agency about these number of children who have been injured. Police have revised the injuries tally, Reuters are reporting. They're quoting police sources. 2 children and 1 adult are in a life-threatening condition, while 2 children are slightly hurt. That's according to police sources, quoting by the Reuters news agency. We were earlier hearing reports of up to 8 children injured, but that's been revised down to 2 children and 1 adult in a life-threatening condition and 2 children slightly hurt. Well, let's bring you some pictures, actually. I want to just show you some pictures now. This is not live, but this is from around the scene. You can see the red tape at the bottom of your screen there. They are from Annecy. You can see people still going about some of their morning business. The lake is to the left of your screen. It is obviously a very famous part of France. This is about 500 kilometres southeast of Paris. Well, let's get more on this with our correspondent Naomi Choi-Smith, who joins us live in the newsroom. Naomi, you're following developments. What's the latest?
Yeah, so as you say, those statistics updated. 3 people thought to be in life-threatening condition, 2 of them children, and the third thought to be perhaps that elderly man who was attacked by this man who, as the police were approaching, apparently, we're hearing from sources, this attacker ran towards an elderly couple and began stabbing them. And we're just seeing French television, BFM TV, has been airing pictures and video showing this man that Hugh Schofield there, our correspondent, was describing, wearing this bandana, running through the park after apparently carrying out the attack. And that park, as you just showed in the pictures, a tranquil spot for kids to play. Apparently the attacker, we're hearing, jumped over that fence and began stabbing children, some of them as young as 3, perhaps even younger. We're still waiting to find out the details there, but disrupting what would otherwise be a sunny and tranquil afternoon in this lakeside town, where, of course, these events are very shocking and rare.
Now, Naomi, as Hugh Schofield was telling us a few moments ago, there is no known motive as yet for this situation, and we're just getting reports via Reuters that the attacker was not known to security agencies. That's quoting a source close to the investigation, but that will be now the main focus, won't it, Naomi, for police and for the authorities to try and understand what has gone on, while at the same time doing their very best to look after those children and that elderly man who are in hospital in a critical condition.
That's right. That will be the focus of the investigation, and the Interior Minister, Gérald Darmanin, has already said, investigations will be underway, of course, into what the motive was. We can't speculate at this point beyond what we've been reporting, which is that this man apparently did have some asylum status via another European country, but he appears to have been a Syrian national. Beyond that, we don't have more details as to exactly why this attack was carried out, but it does come against a backdrop of attacks and stabbings in France that have persisted over the years, especially since the 2015 attacks that put France on a state of high alert. As we've been reporting earlier this year, there were a few stabbings in the Gare du Nord train station in Paris. Many of these attacks do have terrorist motives, but it's too soon to say whether that's the case today.
Well, Naomi, do stay with us here on BBC News. I just want to remind our viewers what we're talking about, what we know has happened so far. This was an attack that started at around 9:45 local time in southeastern France. That's about 7:45 in the morning GMT. And we know that this man approached this group of young children who were out with their minders early in the morning in that small park by the side of the lake. I want to show you where exactly that happened. Let's show you these pictures now of the scene. You can see the park to the right-hand side, the lake now appearing on the left-hand side of your screen, and that red and white tape. This is where this stabbing incident happened. It's said that these young children, some of them as young as the age of 3 years old, were in their pushchairs when this man, wielding a knife, suddenly appeared and began, and they are distressing details, to stab these young children whilst they were still in their chairs. This is the scene of where this attack took place. We're then being told that the attacker ran away from this location and attacked an elderly man who was walking nearby. You can see that this is an area that's open to the public, footpaths that crisscross across that region. And at that point, after he left the stabbing scene, he was shortly intervened by police, who shot the attacker in the legs and overpowered him. So Naomi, that's the details of what we know that has happened so far. It's obviously a developing situation. We're also seeing now, aren't we, lots of reaction, including from the French President Emmanuel Macron.
That's right, and Emmanuel Macron saying this was an act of extreme cowardice and described the victims as hovering between life and death. So, of course, national concern about this story, and we've got the Prime Minister Élisabeth Borne is heading to Annecy, to the scene. We expect her to perhaps arrive later on today, and this will be a very, a big government investigation, and a large contingent from the French government expected to descend on this smaller alpine town to investigate what happened there today. A very shocking and disruptive event and attack that took place in this lakeside town.
Yes, and we're also hearing that there is a press conference that's due to take place in the next 10-15 minutes or so. We will bring you the details here on BBC News as and when we get them. We're expecting at that press conference François Astog, the Mayor of Annecy, and also the public prosecutor for the region. That should hopefully give us more details as to the status of the investigation and what the authorities do and don't know. But Naomi, this, as Hugh Schofield was saying a short while ago, even for seasoned journalists in France, and we've mentioned the fact there have been stabbing attacks previously in the country, but this is completely grave in its severity, considering the fact that it affects these young children, some of them just 3 years old, in their pushchairs early on in the morning, normally enjoying a perfectly normal start to the day.
Yeah, absolutely, Gareth. And this has really struck a very serious chord among French people in the French Parliament. As you were saying, there are lawmakers holding a moment of silence to mark and to remember and honor the victims of this shocking attack, really. A lawmaker, one of the lawmakers there, Antoine Armand, has tweeted what an abominable attack this was on such young children, innocent children, as you say, as young as 3, playing on a sunny afternoon in this lakeside park. And even for French journalists and people who have a French family, as I do and other journalists do, it is certainly a very difficult story to hear about and to cover, as these young children, their lives, and this elderly person or this adult, their lives hang in the balance at the moment.
Well, we will follow the developments closely on this story as and when we get them. We'll follow it closely. But Naomi, for the moment, thank you so much. Just worth reminding viewers as well that there is a live page on our website. That's at bbc.com/news, and also on the BBC News app. If you don't have it already, you can download it on your smartphone or tablet. We're following those developments in France.